Hello everybody, so today I'm going to be doing the second in the series of my showcasing of all my art since 2020 and I'm going to be discussing the two lovely paintings behind me. They are in the Cubism collection of, well, one is I'll discuss that in a second, 2023 and 2024. So yes, I shall be discussing those with you in a second. This is one of a 6-part series to showcase all the artwork that I've done in different projects. There are 6 projects in the series, so 6 videos. So the first video will be Watercolour and Fine Line 2021 project. The next one will be Watercolour Pencil Paintings ×4. The third will be Architectural Drawings ×3 in fine liners. Fourth one, Acrylic Paintings ×5. Fifth one, Botanical Paintings ×6. And 6, Watercolour and Fine Line Birds ×8. So I hope you enjoy all the artwork that I'm going to showcase for you. Enjoy. Each video will consist of me telling you the project name, the media, the rough process, what I did with each one, what's similar between the different artworks, and then at the end I reflect on what I would do differently, what I feel I could have done better, what's wrong with the artworks. I get this process of reflection from the time that I spent in nursing as a qualified nurse. We used to have portfolios, and that's how I still reflect on my life and reflect on everything I've done. How can I do it any better next time? And with that in mind, I'm then on every video you will get a live me basically doing another artwork of that type live for you. Special treat. Thank you. Hello everybody, so today I'm going to be doing the second in the series of my showcasing of all my art since 2020 and I'm going to be discussing the two lovely paintings behind me. They are in the Cubism collection of, well, one is I'll discuss that in a second, 2023 and 2024. So yes, I shall be discussing those with you in a second. So here is my Cubism showcase. It's a very small showcase because it only consists of 2 main paintings in 24 and 23. And more recently, like last weekend, I did another one in the series which is similar but smaller, so it just took me one weekend on and off really, and I will show that one to you at the end because that's my aim in this showcasing, to do another one similar, mainly to see if I've improved, but obviously in this instance I probably haven't improved because it's just a small painting and we can't really compare, because this showcasing and these 2 paintings, out of all the paintings and artworks that I've done since 2020, they were the most involved and took the longest and took some time to design. They're totally my own design, obviously. So we'll start with the top one. Obviously the top one is called London Cubism, and guess why? I wonder what you can point out in this, what you can find that's to do with London. If you're from London, it'll probably be very, very easy. So I designed this because I do love London, and I based it on London. And this one, so yes, so basically this one is London, and it was my latest one, which was it was done in 2024.
and this one is my Cubism Garden, which was done in 2023. So which one should I start with? I think I will start with this one, which is a Cubism Garden, done in 2023. They are both done on stretch canvases. So this was it was on stretch canvas with medium quality acrylics, which were from the range, if I can remember rightly. But the gold was done in high quality acrylic. I bought that especially. So this is Cubism inspired, and the artists that I really like and inspire me in Cubism are obviously Picasso and Wassily Kandinsky. So and a little bit of my own personality put in as well. So this is a garden in Essex, nearby where I live, or in the area that I live, and I just drew it in a Cubism style with everything overlapping. You just draw it with everything overlapping, and then fill in the colours like blocks. But I do try to keep, in this one and the London one, I do try to keep it looking not like realism, but you can make out that's a building, you can make out that's a fountain, you can make out with the colours as well that's some green grass, you can make out that's a wall, you can make out that's the clock and the gate and the ornate tree. Even though it's colourful and the garden doesn't actually look like that, the form is a little bit similar, and you can make out where it is and what it is. Even though one of my friends, it was a little bit of a backhanded compliment, but it is true, said they love it, but the fountain, I've made it to look a lot like, I won't say the word, an atomic something with 4 letters. Yeah, I can see that now. But when I'm in the flow of doing my art, just anything goes. I just do whatever. So so what was my process in this? So the process was to source the paints and materials that I'm going to use. So I use basically just one thick fine liner to do the lines in the end, to make the painting stand out and to give it definition. But before that, did a rough drawing with some straight lines and some curves. Just brought my own personality into it, and I did it basically not on the scene but from a photograph that I'd taken earlier. And then when I'd done that, then I did the painting. I sourced which colours I was going to use where. Obviously tried to use the same colours in the brickwork so that it looked like brickwork. And even though the sky is gold, I think that's quite striking really, but it is better quality paint. You can see I only did one coat there really, and you can see that the coats that I needed to do at least a couple of coats on, they weren't as good quality really. But in the end I was quite playful with it, and in some places, like if you look at Wassily Kandinsky and Picasso, especially Picasso, he's not that uniform. He's very playful with what he does. I've watched actually some, nothing he does is planned really, and I don't really like to plan things that well. I don't think it's necessary. The whole idea of art is to be creative on the spot, do what you like, and that's what I like to do. And well, that will be a video for another day really. I was going to discuss, you know, how my daughter was on quite a few art courses lately, and how she felt when everything had to be planned for the courses. Well, you can't plan art, and you can't really plan creativity, I don't think. Anyway, so in the end, this wasn't me being lazy, that this isn't as well covered. I thought it gave it a little je ne sais quoi, that it wasn't exactly the same, and it was more like, I don't know, more playful, not to go over it again, and a bit more Picasso-esque. So what else do I need to say about this painting? So it's inspired by Picasso and Vasily Kandinsky, as it's Cubism, and they both did quite a lot of paintings and artworks at the Cubism. I designed the actual picture myself, as I've said. Right, the time taken for this. So this was it took quite a long time. I think I did it in, I've put here 30 hours plus. I did it in the March of 2023, when I had an art gallery at the time, and I sat in my art gallery and I just made art, and I had all the time in the world. I put 30 hours plus. Yes, it probably took more than 30 hours. I would say 60 hours, probably a whole week if I didn't stop in between to do anything. A long time. Yeah, it did take me a long time. A lot of, but I really enjoyed doing it. Was it a lot of love, sweat and tears? Yeah, no, not tears actually. No, I enjoyed doing this, but this is a very different. I was just experimenting at that time, and I'm very pleased with it. And I'd never done anything like this before. Just really playful design, really. So yes, it took, I'd say, between 30 and 50 hours, even though I wasn't really counting, but quite a while. So the media obviously was acrylic paint, and one thick fine liner. This was a brand new canvas that I bought from the range. Good quality and sturdy, and the thickness was 1.5 inches, and it's quite sturdy. There's my signature in the bottom, which is quite clear. That was done in the fine liner as well. So with any painting that I do on stretched canvas, I always bring it round the corner. So, and I just think it looks more professional. So I've brought the pattern, the design around, and continued in that colour to just make it more finished, because I can just hang it on the wall like that. Oh, can I see this side? Oh, there we go. You can just about see how I brought the pattern around there as well. Yes, I like to bring, so it's been brought round on all the edges, at the bottom, at the top. What else do I need to tell you about this? I think that's basically okay. On reflection, so it took me quite a long time. In some places I am pleased with it, because it was a new media for me, a new style for me, but I enjoyed doing it, and I'm pleased with the results. I've made prints of this painting. At the moment I'm keeping my paintings so that I can make prints of them, and I can use them to take photographs of to sell on online platforms like print on demand platforms, and I can use my designs. And I think it also is a safeguard for me to keep my originals. So this is obviously the original. it's a safeguard, because if somebody uses my designs and I haven't given them permission to use my designs, and they haven't bought, or even if they've bought a print and they're using selling merchandise with my design on, that's taken me time and effort, then I've always got the comeback that I made this, I can prove it. I can prove it. Look, there's my signature, there's my artwork, I've still got it. Unless somebody offered me a lot of money for my artwork, I think these days I don't anyway need to, I don't feel the need to get rid of it. I think it looks good on my walls. So that's that one. So yes, and on reflection, what else can I tell you about? On reflection, looking at it next time, what could I do better? And I have now done another one, which I will show you at the end of this video. It's a little bit messy in places, but that just adds to the character. I think, yes, the quality of my stuff this time, my materials, sorry, my fine liners or thick liners and acrylics. The acrylics I used on this one, they weren't bad, and I do like the yellow the gold that I used. The fine liners weren't great quality, no, but I think because I'm using acrylics, and I did filled the acrylics in first and then the fine liners, they didn't actually smudge that much, but they're not the best fine liners. You can tell here that they're not the best fine liners. That's almost grey instead of the dark. Anyway, what I've done in the this one, well, I will show you that at the end of this video. I've used something slightly better, but even that wasn't perfect. Anyway, okay, let's go on to the London one now, because I've dwelled quite a lot on that one. So this was done just under a year later. I started this one, and so you can obviously tell that that's London. Yes, I've used the same background, which is the gold. I have used the same background, however, I think I was running out of it, so I think I mixed it with yellow in places. So unfortunately I ran out a little bit. This one is a lot messier than the last one. I rushed it in the end. You can tell here that I rushed it. I think I really rushed it in places, you can tell. I didn't give that a second coat. But in other places, I actually highlighted with white fine liners and black fine liners. You can tell here as well on my what's it called, the London Eye. So what we've got the London Eye, we've got the big cucumber building, the Gherkin building, we've got Big Ben, we've got a bus. These are all London type things really, which you can relate to London. We have a post box up there next to the old telephone box, and this is the Tower of London. The Tower of London with the bridge is somewhere. Where's the bridge? Yeah, yes, there's the bridge. You can sort of tell the bridge there with the poles of the bridge, but it's because it's Cubism and it's all interconnected, it does look a little bit busy to some people. But this design is selling quite well actually. It is quite popular on my print on demand site. So again, this took me a little less time, same process. The design first, a lot of fiddling around with the design actually, because I think I made this very, very busy. I tried to fit far too much in. The trees as well, you may think, why have you done trees? It's London. London has got some beautiful parks and some beautiful tree-lined avenues and private gardens and public gardens like Hyde Park and Kew Gardens. It is beautiful actually, so that's why I've done the trees, because London does have a lot of green places and a lot of trees. I've done the sun in the sky because London in a lot of ways is quite sunny, so it's a sunny place for me. I've always loved London, and I did live in London, Middlesex, Wembley actually, for a long time when I was young. So what else do I need to say about London? Again, Cubism inspired, Picasso, Wassily Kandinsky, same style. And on reflection, I think I rushed this one a little bit too much and maybe overworked it a little bit too much in some places. It's a little bit busy. I haven't signed it yet. Comment down below what you think, which is your favourite. My favourite is still this one. I took longer, I worked harder on it. This one I got bored of, my London, I got bored of London. And in the end, I just wanted it finished really. I've done the same, bringing it round everywhere. Where I stored these on the floor for a little while, it's a little bit damaged there on the edge. So this one needs retouching a little bit. You can tell there as well. It needs retouching a little bit. This one is, I don't know if you can tell the difference. The garden one is varnished. It's had about 3 or 4 coats. I will put another coat on soon. And you can tell the difference. This one isn't damaged, even though they were stored in the same way. This one is, because it wasn't varnished and it wasn't looked after. So I'm going to touch it up. And I'm going to re-varnish it with 3 or 4 coats of varnish. And yes, and I will show you now in a minute. It's a smaller one that I've done. And all these new 2025 ones that I'm doing at the moment, I'm doing it of the same scene, just all different styles and medias. 5 different styles and medias, with each video that I do in this series, sorry. So yes, let me know which one you prefer. Nearly there, filling in all the paints. Now let's get this brush to show you. So this is the sea all along here, that's the sky, that's sea, that's the pier that runs all the way along here. I did want to keep the blues all together so that actually does look like seascapey, but it is very difficult, to be honest with you, with Cubism. It is difficult, but I have tried my best at the same time. So I've kept the grass and I've kept the greens in the trees. I've kept the blues and greeny blues in the sea, so you can differentiate between the grass, the trees, the sea and the pier, just about. All I have to do now is fill in this little bit here and then let the whole thing dry, and then fill in with, I was just going to use these over here, these paint markers, but I'm going to use good quality fine liners as well, which I'll show you later, because I need the fine liners to outline these smaller items here, because those thick paint markers are going to be just too thick. Those paint markers I'm going to use for these bigger bits, that the bigger trees, the bigger main big outlines, and the tiny little bits where it's got to be very, very precise, I will use thinner fine liners. So I'm just going to finish this bit off, then let the whole lot dry, and then I'll show you again once I've done this bit. But I haven't actually shown me painting very much because I had my daughter in the background with music on, and I've got to be very careful with music. I didn't even really recognise the music, but I've got to be careful, obviously. So, right, she's gone now anyway. So I've just got this little bit to do. I didn't really want to do it a bluey colour. I've chosen a cream, basically. That is supposed to be earth, but you know, as long as you can see roughly what it is, that this is a Southend seascape. Of course you can tell it's a Southend-on-Sea seascape with the pier and all these bright colours. As long as you can roughly see, I don't mind. So I'm not going to do that blue because that will look like it's an area of water, but it's not. It's a flower bed really. So I'm just going to do it cream really, because I don't want to use too much of this brown. I've done some of the brown in some of the trees, especially the what do you call it, the bark of the trees, the stem, sorry. Right, so I'm just going to finish that off now. Oh gosh, I think I've got a bit of water on this, a bit watery. So I basically cover all the whites, and then probably in a much thinner brush you pull the paint towards centre. This is watery, oh my goodness. It'll probably need another coat. That's a bit better. That's it. I didn't want to do this earthy bit really, really dark brown because it takes away from the brightness of the whole picture. Oops, I've overlapped a little bit there. So I fill as much of this as possible, then on a thinner brush you pull the paint in, and then it will probably need another coat. Oops, moving my, I really do need a tripod. Really need a tripod. Each time you just move it in a little bit closer. Be very careful though not to go over into the other colour. This definitely will need another coat though. Oh God, wrong. As soon as you do that though, wipe it off immediately, and I'll retouch that later. It will definitely need another coat. I'm going to use so I basically used 3 brushes here. That nice thick one, this thinner one here, but this thinner one, sorry, that's a thicker one. This thinner one, it is thin, but it doesn't really go into the corners that well. So to really get into those corners, oh here it is. I thought, why isn't it coming up? I use this one for real definition to really push that paint into the corners and to get accuracy. So making sure that I've got it.
I have put some extra paint on the paintbrush, and then don't forget, it's not going to stay like this. I am going to put fine liners over these pencil marks. Sometimes I turn the page round, well, the painting round, so that I can be more accurate. That's a case of pushing. If you haven't got enough paint on your brush, push it from where there is a lot of paint. And that goes and push it into that corner. So what I'm doing here, I'm just using the paint that is already there and basically pushing it into the corners. I'm trying to be as precise as possible, but even if it's not, see, I've got a little bit onto the yellow then. Even if it's not totally brilliant, I'm going to have to put a bit more paint on there. Yeah, even if it's not totally accurate and you jog a little bit and say I go into this purple here, it doesn't really matter because I will be going over it with the fine liners. These tiny little bits I do need fine liners, whereas the bigger stuff like here will be a little bit thicker liners. This accuracy that I'm showing you probably isn't as accurate as it would be. It's no excuse, but as it would be if I wasn't holding my phone in one hand. I'm going to turn my page a little bit. Yeah, I haven't actually shown you much of the actual painting because I wanted, for two reasons. I wanted to just get on with it. And secondly, when I could have shown you and wanted to show you, my daughter had some popular music blaring out, and I thought that wasn't a good idea. And then I'm going to let this dry and then go over it once more so that you don't see all these lines so much, so it's a much thicker consistency. Much more coverage. See, I can see that big ridge there. I've got a bit of paint there. You push it very gently into the corners. All the way along very gently. Now I'm going to turn it a little bit. Oops, what am I doing? I'm still getting used to this phone. Push into that corner. It's getting a bit runny actually. I'll turn it again. Oh, must pick that up. That's the lid for the paint. Now this is just a case of pushing that paint up to the edge. You do really need, I think this is my daughter's paintbrush. I don't remember buying this one, but it's very, very thin. Sometimes you need a bit of extra paint if you haven't got enough, like here. If there's any white bits, just go over them. But this will all be, all these pencil marks as well, will all be covered. I think that's pretty much it. Let that dry now. See, it's a little bit patchy here, where some bits are dry and some are not, but it will still show a little bit in the end. Yeah, I think that's done. I'm going to come and give it another coat, this bit anyway, in a little while. I'll just show you, get up and show you. So that's it done before the fine liner goes in. Fine liner and paint markers first, then fine liners. It will just give it that much more definition, but it is practically done. Yeah, sorry, put my teeth in. I'm quite proud of that Southend-on-Sea seascape with a view of the pier, from the cliff gardens, from the beautiful cliff gardens. Yeah, I think that's okay. Okay, well, yeah, I'll let that dry first, then give that bit another coat and show you the finished result soon. So that's the second coat done, and into the edges, making them as neat as possible as well, before I do all the fine liner and paint markers to give it that definition. But obviously I can't do it yet until this bit is totally dry. Okay, voila, see. I have forgotten to say, and I'll say it now. So whenever you do a colour, whenever I do a colour, say the yellow and that going up to the edges, you try to bring it round onto the edges. It's not so important maybe on this canvas board, but on a proper deep canvas like that, can you see how I brought the pattern round and the paint round? To me, it looks so much more professional. I've seen some really good artists just not bother with this bit, and to me, unless it's going to have an absolutely brilliant frame around it so you can't see that messy white bit there and it's not followed through, unless it's really well framed, then to me it doesn't look like a finished painting. So I've done the same here, but I don't think it's so urgent because this would be probably in a proper frame, so you won't be able to see these edges. So that's probably me making an excuse because sometimes I've forgotten, but I've done it there. A bit better in some places than others. In some places I've probably forgotten until later on. And I missed it out a little bit there. I've done it mostly. Look, I've missed a bit there. I didn't bring that blue around. Maybe I'll do that later. Yeah, missed a bit there. Didn't bring that orange around. I've done it there. Not so much there. Yeah, it's not great. I haven't done it great. And on that side, yeah, no, not bad on that side at all. But it just gives it a neater look, really. So yeah, I'm going to let that dry now. So I'm onto the paint marker bit. So you press this first, and then the paint comes out. I don't want to do it too much because I don't want it to be all blotchy. So that's working. I'm just doing a practice rather than putting it straight onto my paint. Let's see if I can put you over here. Oh, why is that all blurry? Strange. Okay, I suppose I'll have to hold it. Okay, so I've put the ruler upside down, and then you draw your line as upside. I can't really do it with one hand. How can I do this? I'll hold it with one finger, and then we draw. I may not, when I do it properly here on my painting,
I may need to, I won't be able to film, I think, because I really do, as I keep saying, I need a tripod so that I can have my other hand free to position my ruler and such. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit, I'm going to do with this paint marker, I'm going to do these big bits because the line, as you can see, is quite thick. And then the very tiny bits over here, the trees, I'm going to do in a thinner liner. So I'm deliberately putting the ruler upside down. Where is the ruler? Yeah, upside down. Can you see? Parallel to the line I want to cover. I'm doing it upside down because if I do it this way round, this is a very old ruler, you'll have to excuse me. If I do it this way round, then when you pull your ruler away from where you've just done the paint marking, that will smudge all on the yellow because it will be in the actual paint and it'll go like this and it will smudge. That's why I've learned to turn the ruler upside down so that the actual ruler isn't touching the paint and your painting. So here it is, my 2025 one. Same style, but a lot smaller, obviously, because I'm doing these videos and then doing another one. So I've basically had to do 6 new paintings, and even though it's a lot smaller, it still takes time. So this is the Cliff Garden in Southend-on-Sea in Picasso, Willy Kandinsky, Cubism style, and Alpha style as well. So there's your little bench. You can see some perspective. I've tried to keep the tree shaped, but you can see that's the sea there. That's the sea. That is the little building on the pier. This is the pier coming all the way along here. It was difficult to do, and you may think this is a mistake here, all these little lines. It's not. And this bit here is wider than that at the end there because it's the pier and it's going into the distance. So I have tried to keep some type of perspective. Little trees here. Obviously, you can tell that they're trees. You can tell, I wanted to keep it that you could still tell that this is the sea. That's the sea, that's the sea, or the estuary as some call it. That's the sea there. And I tried to keep the trees green, the grass green, but it's got a lot of bright colours as well, so it will stand out. Okay, well, there's not much more to be said about that. So this is the photograph, original photograph was taken from the Cliff Gardens. This is the Cliff Gardens here. And that was the little flower bed and the little fountain thing. There you go. Oh yes, the only other thing that I would say about this is that I did actually, you can tell that it's actually paints. They are paint markers that I used for instead of fine liners, and I'm happy with that. I used an upside down ruler so that it wouldn't smudge too much. In some places it has smudged, or I was getting tired and made some mistakes. But when I make mistakes, I try to, like I made a mistake here and brought the line down too far, and then I try to correct it without making it look too obvious. And there you go. That includes my showcasing a new painting in Picasso style Cubism.
I hope you liked today's video about my Cubism paintings. I know it's only 2 and now 3. Please like if you like the video and if you like my paintings, and subscribe to my art channel, please. Thank you very much. If you want to, I do have another channel, but I thought I'm giving far too much. There's too many different things that I'm trying to put onto the other channel. So I've got this channel for just my artwork, and all my other creative stuff is on the other channel. I've only got a few subscribers, so I am letting my subscribers know that come over to my art channel if you want to see more artwork. Okay, okay. Have a good day.